internet. Welcome back into the Night Lighthouse. It's lovely to see you all. What another fine, hot, miserable day you join me on. It's muggy in the lighthouse today. The seagulls are going apeshit outside, as you can probably hear. They're probably shitting everywhere. I've just cleaned my car. They'll be shitting all over it. The bastards. How are you? More importantly, how are you? Listen to me just talking nonsense. How are you? What's going on with you? Tell me all about it. Don't you hate it? Do you ever do that, where you meet up with someone you've not seen in a while? And so they do tell you all about it. And very quickly you realise, no, I'm not that interested. And you realise you were just being polite. Even when you said it, you didn't quite comprehend just how polite you were being. Because as soon as they start telling you, you realise, yeah, I'm not bothered. I don't care what your boss said to you last week. Couldn't care less. In fact, I don't even remember what you do for a living. But you can't say that, can you? Because we are, social and sociable and polite animals. So you just do the, the polite fool's noises. Honestly, if you were to write a script of many of my social interactions, you really would just need the M key for at least my parts of the dialogue. Just because that's the sort of person I am. In fact, don't even tap it, tap, just press it and hold down. Get 5 lines worth of it. You really up your word count. You have to put spaces in the middle. So just like 4 M's, space, 4 M's, space. Copy that. Control V to paste it. Control V, Control V, Control V. You just fill up a document, You'll be at 10,000 words in no time. You might not win an Oscar, but nonetheless, it will be accurate. That's what a conversation is like with me. I used to know a woman. I used to know this old woman who had as like some kind of like nervous reflex. It was the strangest thing. Anything you said, she would just over you. And it became apparent she wasn't actually listening to a word you said. She was just and then she would like completely contradict what you said. Because the wasn't actually an agreement at all. It was just this weird background noise she made. She was like having an old fridge. She was an old woman who was very much like an old fridge, just constantly sort of sat in the corner going, I wonder what happened to her. I wonder if she's still going. Because my fridge packed up not too long ago. Honestly, I came back from holiday and the fridge had packed up. No joke. Shit, and that was only 4 or 5 years old. And this woman was like 80. So, I'll be amazed if she's outlived my new fridge. My new fridge is now a handful of months in, I think. So, hopefully she's outlasted it. I wonder which I'll be more upset about when they go. The fridge or the old woman. It'll probably be the old woman, to be fair. I am being flippant now. I'm being a dick now just for the sake of humour. And it's not even very funny, is it? So, sorry about that. Honestly, that was the soundtrack to a significant part of my life. It was just like, I swear to God. I can't get it out of my head now. Now I'm doing it. I almost can't stop going, It's just like an impulse. Talking to you now, I can see why she does it now. So yes, that's my opening ramble. What do I want to talk about today? Funny thing, right? I was in a coffee shop just a couple of days ago, and I suddenly thought, oh my God, I'm in a coffee shop. Because what else are you going to do with your free time? Because coffee shops are everywhere now. When I was a kid, we had cafes. Cafe. That's what we used to say. It was a cafe. Cafe. At some point, I don't know where, probably around the beginning of high school, it became cafe. We became quite metropolitan, quite European. Cafe. But for a while there, that crossover, going from cafe to cafe, you felt, even as a child, quite pretentious. Because it's not a cafe, it's a cafe. I remember one day saying that, I went for a milkshake with my mum in a cafe. And my friends going, oh, cafe. Andrew said cafe when it should be cafe. Oh, and Andrew's posh. Andrew has a garage. Because it's garage. American listeners, it's not garage, it's garage. At least where I come from. So at one time we had cafes, which then became cafes, which were the same thing. And that was just what you had. in the litter of shops on a high street, you would have one or two cafes. Not cafe, not cafe, cafes, somewhere in the middle. And then at some point, in recent memory, basically everything stopped in the high street world. Everything closed and was replaced by nail salons, hair salons, or coffee shops. Not cafes, coffee shops. They are everywhere now. It didn't used to be. I swear to God, and you may not believe me now, but you're probably old enough to remember this. You really cast your mind back. Your mind's been brainwashed, but you don't remember. There used to be a time when you could move more than 50 feet without a coffee in your hand. It is possible. I've seen it. I've done it. Because every fucker on that high street now has coffee in their hand, one of those paper cups of coffee in their hand, just jaunting along, drinking my coffee, possibly with a small dog in my hand, because I'm a fucking cunt. Sorry. I don't like the small dog thing. It's where they step too far. Anyway, everyone's always drinking coffee. It's like it is oxygen. It's like it is some form of literal fuel. And you are an engine, and you constantly must be topping up with this coffee just to survive. Do you know they used to make cars without cup holders? They did. I know it seems unbelievable now that these cars did not have cup holders. Because what you could do was you'd leave the house, you'd sit into the car, and then you would drive the car to a location and then get out again. You didn't have to have a picnic in the middle. You didn't have to eat. You didn't need to graze in the car. It wasn't part of the deal. You didn't constantly have to have something to drink while you're driving to work. It's 20 minutes, everyone. Have a coffee when you get there. It's not the way we work anymore. We have drive-thrus for coffee now. I presume this isn't just local to me. I presume this is all over the world. A drive-thru for coffee. It's like, and that's like just on the outskirts of town. So people are driving out of town to get a drive-thru coffee and then to keep them company when they drive back into town. Are we in that much of a rush? Must we have that much coffee? Really? I read an article actually about coffee. This reminds me. Coffee has had like a checkered past. At one point it was a devil's drink, and then there was a time when coffee shops actually started, and I don't know in which country, but women were banned unless they were prostitutes. It was a man's club kind of thing. A coffee shop was where the newspapers were. You'd hang out with your mates and you'd find a whore. That's just the way it was. And then women protested that because they also wanted to go into the coffee shops and liberalise the coffee shops and make them unisex, and everybody could enjoy the coffee. And they put out some news, or maybe they did, someone did, that coffee made you impotent. It did. Coffee made you impotent. You could not get it up if you were drinking so much coffee. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, because I actually don't drink coffee. Yeah? But, and then, in response to that, the men's newspapers responded saying, no, it is not the coffee. It is bad wine and cloudy beer. But a good coffee makes you hard as nails. Massive, massive cock if you drink lots of coffee. So, coffee was seen somewhat as an aphrodisiac, which is amazing. This is what happened in a world before porn. This is what happened in a world before the internet access in every home. Yeah? People were drinking coffee to try and get horny. Yeah? But now what's happening, and this concerns me, is everyone's drinking loads of coffee, and yet we do have the porn and the internet access. So it's too much aphrodisiac. There are men walking round my city with massive hard-ons, literally walking down the street, very much in danger of having someone's eye out, because their cock is gone so hard and rigid now, because they're drinking the coffee and they're watching the porn at home and on their cell phones in the coffee shop. It's this is potentially the end of the world. This is Armageddon coming. It's like the last days of Rome out there. Every fucker's drinking coffee with a massive cock. Yeah? With small dogs running around. I don't know if they had small dogs in Rome, but they probably did. In this coffee shop, by the way, people were bringing in dogs. I mean, and again, mostly small dogs. At least in the half hour I was there, 2 people carried in little dogs, and other people came in making their dogs walk because they've got fucking legs. Dogs have got 4 legs, right? We've got 2. We've got 2 legs, and yet we expect our young to fucking get up and get walking pretty damn quick in the grand scheme of things. Why the fuck is a dog with 4 legs being carried around everywhere? I demand an answer. So yes, a tirade about small dogs, of which I'm not a fan, coffee, of which I'm not a fan, coffee shops, of which I'm not a fan. I actually don't mind a coffee shop, of course, but it's just quite often, if you go to trendy coffee shops, it's a dickheads in them. Who'd have thought you could have a trendy coffee shop, sell some coffee, it's in a cup? But no. Now we have trendy coffee shops. And this annoys me a little bit. I think maybe I'm bitter, because I don't drink coffee. It makes me feel not very well. But I do like a good tea. But the tea in a coffee shop is very much an afterthought, isn't it? It's kind of like, oh, do you want that? It's just like, oh, what do you want? Do you want breakfast? Do you want this? Do you want that? They've got fruit tea, they've got tea, they've got decaffeinated tea, and they've got English breakfast tea, as if that's somehow some bizarre new variety. You know, if you are a tea drinker, you are very much an afterthought. You are like the equivalent of a vegetarian in a steak restaurant. It's like, oh, shit, we better put something on the menu for them, but fuck them, who cares? Do you know what I mean? And I can see the point. If you go to a steak restaurant and you're vegetarian, you're not, you know, you're making bad life choices, aren't you? If you've dedicated part of your life to not eating meat, don't go to a restaurant which celebrates the eating of meat. You know, okay, fine. And of course, sometimes on birthdays and, you know, things happen and you have to go to that restaurant. And so they have to cater to you to a point. You know, here's your stuffed mushroom, fuck off. Fine. And the coffee shop's the same, I suppose. If you don't like coffee, don't go to a coffee shop. All right, fine. But, you know, you're meeting a friend in town. Where are we going to meet? Oh, that coffee shop on the corner of so-and-such street. And I was like, oh, okay, fine. I'll have a water then. Do you know what I mean? Coffee's bollocks, isn't it? There we go. I've said it now. I know most people listening will probably be drinking coffee while listening. You've probably just bought yourself a double decaf, extra calf, espresso latte, Americano bucket. And you're probably sipping it now, you know. You've probably driven from your home to the next city to go because they've got extra decaf latte skim, yeah? Whereas the place near you's just got extra DK latte skim. So you've gone the extra 15 miles or something to get, I don't know, I'm losing my train of thought. My point is, I don't even know what my point is, but in conclusion, I don't like small dogs, and I don't like coffee. I'm talking about all this as if it's a new phenomenon. Phenomena. But it's not, because we've always had coffee, and, you know, it's always been there. Do you remember, now this will probably be very regional, I'm not sure how brands travel, and I'm sure the same conglomerates own the same product in different territories, but maybe they have different names. But anyone remember Nescafe? And I'm not talking about your Gold Blend or Arizona or whatever the hell they call it. I'm talking about Nescafe. Fucking granules that were like dried out husks of shit. And you remember it. And that was seen as, you know, quite a quality product. It's like, oh, Nescafe. At least that's my memory. I never drank it. And this was in the 80s when I was a kid. But Nescafe. The old woman again. You know, that's probably where it started. She used to go, Nescafe. And she could never get over it. It's like a feedback loop with her. Nescafe. You get the point. Nescafe. And they had some fucking awful adverts. I actually remember. I wonder if I can find the adverts. Oh, this is... Let's fragrantly infringe on someone's copyright. Does it matter when it's an 80s advert? I'm sure it's on YouTube somewhere. Right, I'm just going to completely ignore the fact I'm supposed to be entertaining, talking to you while I pull up Okay. Fuck, yeah. Sometimes... I mean, there's things that you remember from your childhood, and there's things you block out. There's the bad uncle, and there's this advert. I'm going to play the audio for you.
If you want great tasting coffee with a richer, smoother flavour...
Nescafe is the one to pot.
Oh, that's piss poor. Oh, that is piss poor. That is piss poor. So you may not know the characters here. There's an actor that was famous in the 80s, don't know his name, and that is... Oh, he plays snooker. You see? And so the one to pot, because he's a snooker player. I mean, it doesn't even make sense as a joke, though, because you don't pot coffee. It's granules in a cup. It's not a pot of coffee. It's just granules in a cup. It's such a... it's desperate. It's desperate. And now you have entered with me down the internet hole, which is the evil that is. You might also like suggestions on the right side, because, alas, there is more. And we are going to watch more, because they surely do not get better. And I am running out of material, so let's have a look.
Nescafe, anyone? Music to my ears.
That's Sarah Green. She used to be famous.
Let's
There's
see.
that knobhead again. Same knobhead as last time.
Nescafe?
Eh?
Eh?
You know, Nescafe. With that special
Nescafe.
blend and roast.
Oh, yeah, they used to do that weird
That rich
shake hand
smooth
thing with the
taste.
beans in, like a rattle.
Tchaikovsky's first.
No, second. Nescafe always comes first.
Oh, God, that's supposed to be funny.
Nescafe, coffee at its best.
He actually gave a wink to the camera. Oh, you smug human defecation. Oh, Nescafe always comes first. I shouldn't say that. He's probably dead or something. But Nescafe always comes first. Does it? Does it? Not anymore, it doesn't. Times change, pal. Times change. Let's have one more. One more, I promise. No more. No more. I appreciate, you're basically just listening to you're listening to terrible audio of terrible adverts. So it's 50% less entertaining than it is for me. Okay, what's this one? I don't recognise the thumbnail for this one.
Good to see you.
It's the same
Been
fella.
shopping?
Coffee?
Do you know, I once had a friend who used to fill a Nescafe jar with another coffee.
The cheap bastard.
He thought no one would know the difference.
With the special blend and roast.
Precisely.
That gives you that richer, smoother Nescafe taste.
Nescafe taste.
Unique to Nescafe. You've got it. What happened?
It's one of those times when you find out who your friends are.
Make sure you're serving coffee at its best. Serve Nescafe.
Fuck that guy. He didn't give me Nescafe. He's not my friend. I'm godfather to his children, but fuck that guy. We're not friends anymore. That's great. That is quite funny. I suspect for the wrong reasons, but nonetheless, it's made me chuckle, so job done. Oh, thank you, adverts of old. I appreciate it. So that was Nescafe, which used to be the king of the pile. But times changed, and I think people realised, actually, this is utter gash. And we don't like this anymore because we know it's utter shite. And so Nescafe said, aha! Alas, worry not, because Nescafe has the answer. And that's when they released Nescafe Gold Blend. Do you remember that? Nescafe Gold Blend. It was the prestige format version of Nescafe. It was Nescafe less shit. Nescafe shit light. And all of a sudden, that became the, Nescafe Gold Blend. And I remember the transformation in the market because my mum, who drinks a lot of coffee, or used to, always used to drink Nescafe. And then, when it was on offer, she would switch to Gold Blend. And then after a time, there was a sea change. And Nescafe Gold Blend became almost like the standard one, if that makes sense. So Nescafe was very much the sort of the shit you'd have in a shit cafe. Not even a cafe, the cafe, the greasy one, at the bottom of the high street. And Gold Blend became the norm. And then people would buy Gold Blend. And it was, Gold Blend. But that didn't happen overnight. That took advertising too. And I've just realised there is one of the most famous advertising campaigns in British history. Nescafe Gold Blend. Those of you who like, let me see, Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Merlin, amongst other things, will know Anthony Head. And he I want to say he got his break in the Nescafe Gold Blend adverts, which were like a continuous run of adverts, like made up a long story, like where they met this couple because they lived next door to each other, and then romance blossomed over Nescafe Gold Blend. That's how good Nescafe Gold Blend is. It got Anthony Head laid. Anthony Head got laid because of coffee. He drank the coffee. He got a massive hard-on. She noticed. It's a beautiful thing. That's the way it works. So that was a very famous advert. So let's have a look at that one. I'm expecting this one to be marginally better than the goddamn abortions we watched just a moment ago. Now then, let's pull it up. Nescafe Gold Blend advert. Here it is now. Okie dokie. Let's see if this is as bloody god-awful as the rest of them. Oh, instantly it's classy, isn't it?
Hello. I'm sorry to bother you, but I'm having a dinner party and I've run out of coffee.
Oh, no.
Come in.
Thank you.
Smooth bastard.
Will Gold Blend be too good for your guests?
I think they could get used to it.
It's a very sophisticated coffee.
They have very sophisticated taste.
We're going to stop that there. Will Nescafe, will Gold Blend be too good for your guests? You fucking whore. You tramp. Look at the state of you. You can't have classy friends. You're not having a dinner party. You're having a bukkake orgy. Is Gold Blend too good for your guests? Oh, that is the best thing. What a prick. Is Gold Blend too good for your... Okay, let's run it back. Sorry about that. Couldn't contain myself. Okay, calm down. Calm down. Let's listen.
Come in.
Thank you.
Will Gold Blend be too good for your guests?
Oh, I think they could get used to it.
It's a very sophisticated coffee.
They have very
You
sophisticated
fucking
taste.
tramp.
Do they?
Yes. Well, I must be getting back.
Now, golden roasted, richer, smoother, Nescafe Gold Blend.
Have you met your new neighbour yet?
Oh, I've popped in for coffee.
Oh, so very smooth. Oh, I popped in for coffee. Oh, that was just the best. That's just the best. I've met my new neighbour. Yes, he effectively called you a classless, cheap skank. Oh, that's the best. Oh, that's cheered me right up. God, adverts were great in the 80s, weren't they? I bet there's some horrendous things. If I keep clicking on those, you might also like thumbnails. So I suppose that was you can tell there was classical music and it was such a smooth advert and you couldn't see it, but the lighting's soft and it was evening and there was, just a little bit of light cutting across her eyes there. And, oh, that was the transformation, I think. That was when coffee started to become, not Nescafe, but yes, coffee. I am listening to classical music and reading a very complicated book about erections. And now coffee's some kind of status where everyone has to have coffee at all times. That's part of having a coffee in your hand is every bit as fashionable as the shoes on your feet, the hairstyle, the shirt, whatever. The coffee in your hand is part of it. Drive round in your 4x4 with your little dog and your big coffee. If you can get a coffee which is bigger than your dog, or rather, if you can get a dog which is smaller than your coffee, you are king of the fucking high street. Yeah? So there we go. That's my thoughts on coffee. And we had some laughs at the expense of the 80s. Thank you, 80s. Thank you. If we can do the same for tea. I mean, I think tea's always been more sophisticated than coffee, no? Do we agree? Do we disagree? I don't know. In my mind, tea is more of a gentleman's drink. It's more of a soothing, relaxing drink. It's what you drink when you are musing the world, which I often do. Whereas coffee is what you drink if you are about to You know, you're trying to stay up all night to close the deal with Tokyo, but Hashimoto's just playing hardball with goddamn stats. That's when you drink coffee. And very few of us are actually doing that. You know, when you're driving around in your 4x4 with your small dog, you really do have a lot of spare time there, don't you? You really do have a lot of freedom in life. You don't need the perk. You don't need the perk me up. So either you have raging erectile dysfunction, or just switch to tea. No, I hope the world doesn't change, really, because coffee is just a beast, a money-making beast at the end of the day. I mean, I know for the economy, but I also know I'm sure there's lots of non-fair trade problems with it. But ultimately, my wife does a lot of catering, and it's the coffee where she makes the most profit. Coffee is easy money in that regard. It's just make a part of it, pour it into a cup, charge someone a couple of quid for it. Easy money. So coffee, thank you for bringing some income into my household. Isn't it weird I've just done basically a whole episode about coffee? I don't even drink coffee. And that's a very niche topic, that. You know, I don't know how Google's going to cope with that. I don't think many people are Googling coffee podcast. So, you know, it is quite niche. So tell your friends, you know, share this with your Twitter followers. Put it on your Facebook. Do all that. You can hear this on the usual places, Stitcher, iTunes, just been added to Spotify, so you can get me with your Spotify-ness, yeah? So that app, Player FM, Pocket Casts, iTunes, Podbean, all of them, basically, I think, most of them. So just tell people, yeah? Just tell people, and I'd be grateful. And if you listen, subscribe. And if you like it, you know, let me know. And if you don't like it, just subscribe anyway. And tell people, yeah? Help spread the word of the Night Lighthouse. It's a beautiful place here. It's a lovely, chilled... It's been so chilled, hasn't it? We're up here in the lighthouse. There's the waves in the background. There's those cunt seagulls shitting on my car outside. It's so chilled. I'm a very chilled host. And we talk about important topics. We've covered some real ground in these last few episodes, you know, and we will continue to do so. I mean, I've done coffee today. I might do one on hot chocolate. I might, yeah? So this is groundbreaking stuff. Groundbreaking. Tell your friends. And on that note, I am going to wrap it up. Thank you very much for listening. I do appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I see you again. I hope I talk to you again. If you were drinking coffee while listening to this, I hope this was a good accompaniment. I hope you realise what a fucking twat you are. With your fucking coffee, driving round in your 4x4. That's your dog. That's what I think of your dog. That's me mocking your dog. That's what your dog sounds like. Your dog sounds like a proper dog on helium. Are you proud of that? It's like your dog sounds like a fucking recording of a normal dog sped up. It's like the chipmunks. It's like a proper dog fucked a chipmunk. And the product of that union is your dog. Well done. Well done. I bet you paid a lot of money for it too. It wasn't even from a shelter, was it? You cock. How much you pay for that fucking dog? $1,000? $1,000? Pound for pound? How much is that? How much do you pay for a chicken? You've bought a dog with the same weight as a chicken. The chicken's plucked. It was heavier when it was fucking on the field. Jesus Christ, the world's a mess. The world is a mess. The world is a mess. And I'm here to put it right. Got myself all fired up again there. Sorry about that. I was signing off, wasn't I? And on that note, I once again sign off. You got the gist of it. Subscribe, tell friends, tweet. Bye.